Hello, hello. This is Denise. I'm back with you to give you a brief update on some happenings with a couple of the cast members on Married at First Sight, Season 12 in Atlanta. Jacob did a live on Instagram, and he was doing a great job of fielding questions about many things. The audience covered a wide range of topics, from his personal life, is he dating, to his professional life, what does he do for a living. They were asking him all kinds of questions about what his preferences were, what he likes to do, and all sorts of questions. And Jacob was doing a great job fielding the questions and interacting with his audience. And then Jacob went on a diatribe about a lot of social issues, such as credit card debt, student loans. He was talking about the government, the drug problem. He was discussing policing and race relations. And Jacob was really making a lot of good points. He had strong points, and the audience was really liking what he was saying. We were in the amen corner. We were agreeing with Jacob. He made some really strong points, and we had a really good discussion going on in Jacob's live. And then in the last hour, out of nowhere, in swoops Virginia. Now, if you will recall, Virginia was married to Eric. And Virginia and Eric decided to stay together on decision day. They decided to stay married. But then months after that, before they could be married for, I guess, a year, they almost made it to a year. I think they were married for maybe like 8 months or so. They decided to get divorced. And Virginia swooped into Jacob's live on Instagram and started railing on him. She accused him of all sorts of things. She accused him of lying. She accused him of bad-mouthing Haley. She accused Jacob of begging Haley for sex. And believe you me, the viewing audience on Jacob's live on Instagram wasted no time going in on Virginia, calling her all kinds of drunkards, okay? Telling Virginia she was drunk, telling Virginia she needed to put down the alcohol. She was reminded that she was called vodka on the show for a reason. And it really wasn't a good look coming from Virginia, because Virginia is on Instagram. She's on Instagram as Meet Virginia, and she could have had her own live, or she could have done her own on her own platform. She could have said whatever she wanted to say about Jacob, about Haley, about whatever the topic. But she chose to swoop in on Jacob's live and basically attack him and accuse him of mistreating Haley or lying about Haley. And it really didn't make a whole lot of sense. And the audience let Virginia know that she wasn't making very much sense. And the audience did let her know that it wasn't a good look for her. And Jacob, to his credit, handled things masterfully. He was very kind. He was very cordial. He was very patient with Virginia. He did not respond in kind to her. He kept it above board. He was very polite. He was very gracious. And he let Virginia know that he didn't want to have a negative interaction with her. And Jacob also encouraged us, the audience, not to negatively interact with her and not to jump all over her. But sorry, Jacob, too late. The audience definitely had their way with Virginia, and she put herself in line for it. She walked right into it, being on Jacob's platform, not on her own, accusing Jacob of all sorts with, she said she had receipts, but of course Virginia did not present any receipts, and we go through that so much with people talking about receipts and never producing any. Well, this was yet another incident. So, Virginia she said what she wanted to say. I guess it didn't make a whole bunch of sense, and Jacob's audience definitely did not appreciate it. Jacob handled it masterfully. He was calm, he was cool, he was collected, and Jacob stood his ground, stating the fact that when he does talk about Married at First Sight, it's only because he's asked, which is true. He's asked a lot of questions, and when he is asked, he does answer. So it's not as though he's walking around with an axe to grind. The viewers want to know. Even still, even though the season is over, viewers still want to know about his experience, what his take was on things. And of course, we as viewers always want the behind the scenes information. So we always want to know what wasn't portrayed on the show. We always want to know what wasn't necessarily captured on camera or what may have been edited out. So, we're always looking for the tea to be spilled. And Jacob has been very discreet. He's been very kind. He's been very gracious and merciful to Haley. But apparently that was not appreciated either by Haley and certainly not by Virginia, because Virginia definitely, by coming on to Jacob's live on Instagram, was being very confrontational and very combative with him. And Virginia insinuated or implied that Jacob had better not say anything bad about Haley or better not badmouth Haley, because otherwise, apparently the women on the season 12 cast would dislike him or not have anything to do with him. And I don't see how that is a power play, because Jacob doesn't seem to be very concerned at all about the women on the show. He seems to be friends with the men who were his cast members, with the exception of Chris, of course. But Jacob seems to be on good terms with the men who were his cast members on season 12 of Married at First Sight. So I don't see where he would be concerned about how the women feel about him. But that was the veiled threat, that if Jacob continued to badmouth Haley, then the women of season 12 Married at First Sight would somehow dislike him or not have anything to do with him. So, of course, Jacob did not care about that. But note, please, that it was not the women of season 12 of Married at First Sight who confronted Jacob on his Instagram. It was Virginia, and Virginia alone. Okay, and that was not lost upon Jacob's audience. And they took every opportunity to call her every kind of drunkard they could call her. And she walked into it. She walked right into that. And it was a bad look for Virginia. It was really a bad look for her, because if she had any differences or any points to make with Jacob that needed resolution, she could have approached him in a very different way. She could have approached him privately. She could have, spoken with him anywhere other than social media. And it was live, so we got to see it in real time. And it wasn't a good look for her. So right now, Virginia has made Eric, her now ex-husband, pretty much look like a genius for getting rid of her, because her behavior was quite frankly embarrassing. It was embarrassing. It wasn't a mature thing to do. It wasn't a ladylike thing to do. It wasn't a responsible thing to do. So it just led people to believe that once again, Virginia had found her way to the bottom of a bottle, and she was fueled by alcohol. And look, I don't know this for sure. I'm saying this allegedly, supposedly. She may or may not have been under the influence of alcohol. Okay, that was people's take based on her behavior, and it was interesting to see. But again, Jacob handled the situation calmly. He was very polite as Jacob always is. He's himself. He's always true to himself, and we can appreciate that. But he handled her with care and with delicacy. He did not take that opportunity, because of being on his own platform, to rake her over the coals. And again, he encouraged the audience not to do that as well. He encouraged us all to be polite, to be kind. But, he can only do so much, right? So it was very interesting. And I just wanted to give you this update that Jacob from Married at First Sight, season 12, did a live on Instagram, and Virginia, who was married to Eric and is now divorced, swooped in and was confrontational and combative and accused Jacob of lying and bad-mouthing Haley and begging Haley for sex. And she said that she had receipts. Again, she certainly didn't present any of these claimed receipts, but she says she has them, for whatever that's worth. So, Virginia apparently is not liking Jacob, and she feels like she's the one who has to stand in and step up and speak up for Haley. And I don't know why she's doing that, because if Haley had a problem with anything Jacob is doing, Haley is free to speak up for herself. But maybe Haley, being of a slightly more sober mind, allegedly, might have realized that, if she's got any problems, it's best to speak privately than to go on Jacob's very public social media platform called Instagram during a live to confront him. It wasn't smart. It wasn't wise. It didn't work. But that's what Virginia did. So it was very interesting to watch, and I just wanted to share with you that update from what is happening with a couple of the cast members from Married at First Sight, season 12 in Atlanta. Just when you thought the season was over and it was all done and dusted, here we go with more drama from the season that apparently never ends. These cast members seem to be pulling more drama out of their sleeves than what we saw during the whole season. It's amazing, and it's ongoing. So, folks, stay tuned. That's your update. If anything else happens, I'll be right back here, and I hope you'll join me. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy! This has been your Married at First Sight, Season 12, from Atlanta, latest update. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.